Hello and welcome to my summary of live letter number 82. First of all, at the start of a live letter, before we get started, Yoshi P addressed the rumour that he would be working on a Final Fantasy IX remake, to which he asked people to check their sources and do some fact-checking, saying that he is not working on Final Fantasy IX, so there were various different interviews that got that wrong, and he wanted to put them right. It starts then, the official live letter, with a trailer. This trailer I'm not going to show you anything from because it is incredibly spoilerific. If you do want to go watch that, of course there are the links on screen, and honestly I don't think we should really talk about that too much further. I will do a trailer analysis and a bit of a breakdown as a separate video, but this live letter does actually feature quite a few spoilers, so if you want to turn around now, you know, that's really the point to do so, but I won't be talking about the trailer any more than that, other than there's the links to go check that out. They say they're on track for early access to be released on the 28th, obviously, of this month. They're working very hard up to the last minute to squash as many bugs as they can before launch. Yoshida-san was asked if he's having a summer vacation this year, to which he says he'll probably be working on the plot for 8.0. The man does not get any rest. They just finished the media tour, obviously, and they're excited to see the content being posted online on various media outlets. And the build apparently in the media tour that I myself was included and played on was an early build back from May, around Yoshida's birthday apparently, so quite old. So they've come a long way since then. Potencies are not final. They've seen a lot of people talking about them, especially on Black Mage, etc. They have changed a great deal since that build, so not to worry, and things will be very different, as you would imagine. So this live letter is to pick up on elements they might have missed with previous broadcasts, as well as some reiteration on the run-up to launch. They do actually want to show gameplay in this and reveal as much as possible, hence some of the spoilers. So talking about new cities and areas, first some PowerPoint. Tulialal has a picture here. They say it's a very diverse area in terms of cultures and races that coexist in this land. They tried their best to show that in the various details they included. They also showed this beautiful night picture with all the lanterns. Urkapacha then, these mountains you see in the picture that they said here will be travelling towards them. So they're not just set pieces, they're actually there, and they will be involved in the storyline, presumably the big mountain as well, with that second picture there looking pretty awesome as well, with not many other details mentioned. Kozama Uka then, the giant waterfalls with 2 tiers of landscape and other waterfalls. They say the groundwater here is very clear. They say when the water hits the ground, it actually mixes with the mud, so they spent a lot of time on those specific graphical details to get it right, so it wasn't just clear water all the way through. The second picture here of this Moblin base then, presumably with one of the new tribe-related quest lines. Yaktel, then, this is something we've not really seen much of. This is the jungle zone. They tried their best to say here that they gave off the idea of tropical warm climates, but with dense forest and gaps between that. Obviously at nighttime here, or actually this is in daytime, I think. If you go below the actual canopy of the trees, you get a bioluminescence bringing that sort of almost nightlife to life, with all of that vibrance, and that goes through the creatures as well, both flora and fauna. Next they show Shaloni, which is that Wild West style zone, complete with saloon buildings and hitching posts. It looks very cool, straight out of The Good, Bad and the Ugly or something. And the second picture actually shows this rail station and a windmill. They say they made it quite dusty as an environment default, so obviously you're going to be wanting to wear some kind of face mask here, as there's lots of sandstorms. Heritage found then, this is just beautiful, showing all of this neon purple. The second picture shows this sort of rundown town with cobbled roads, and I think everybody collectively just screamed at their TV, if they're watching it on the PlayStation, or at their PC screen, Alexandria. Now that is very clear, and Yoshi P noticed the comments and did not want to confirm or deny them, but yes, Alexandria seems to be in Heritage found in this absolute hellscape of lightning. Very interesting. And then following on to that, we've got Solution 9. This is probably the most exciting picture or series of pictures. We've got a picture of this car on like a showroom rotating thing. That's the first thing that my eye is immediately attracted to. And then they've got these like mall-like buildings and storefronts that we've seen in other artwork. And they say the billboards will have moving pictures. They're not static, so that's something. And then the second image is kind of like of a car park area with futuristic bikes and cars, like a light cycle or the bike from Akira. This is absolutely wonderful. I can't wait to get those as mounts. They have to do it, right? They do say here there is a certain mount that transforms, so look forward to that. So I don't know if they're talking about the collector's edition mount or anything else, but that's exciting to say the least. Hopefully we get some more of this as set pieces and things. And that's all the zones they want to show us at this time. Now they talk about key characters. Some of this is a bit spoilery. We'll skip through it. We're not going to read the stuff on screen. There will be a large and diverse array of characters in the expansion, they say, and they want to touch up on a few. We're not going to dwell on this, like I say. If you want to pause the actual video and read this yourself, I think that's probably for the best, but they show off Wook Lamart, Arenville, Kryl, Thancred, Orion J, the Dawn Servant Galul Jaja, Zoralja, Koana, Bakul Jaja, and the mysterious enigmatic maiden. They say there are more characters they haven't shown here that will be in the expansion. They just wanted to draw attention to these specifically here, so probably the most important to that storyline. New gear then. These characters look rough and tough, they say, in their attire. Some people enjoy role-playing with their characters, Yoshi P says, so these outfits will be available to the players. They are actually crafted pieces of gear, confirmed to be just for roleplay. These are not pieces of gear used for combat specifically, so these aren't home gear or crafted combat gear or anything like that. These are just nice sets. I especially like the, spiky shoulders. We have demonstrations here with Dark Knight here in fending gear, looking pretty awesome. We have a Reaper here. Then we have a Machinist. And here's the Ninja. And then I believe this is the Caster, right? The Black Mage. Looking pretty cool, actually, all in all. Very different, but this is not the case for all of the gear in the expansion, but I can imagine it being very diverse between them. Role quests then. So role quests make a return. You'll be able to do these at level 92. Separated as usual into 5 different disciplines with 5 different quest lines. There'll be extra quests as well for completing all 5 of these, which apparently will be added in patch 7.1 or later. So definitely do these. The last ones were really good, the Void quests, so if you haven't done the previous ones, go do those. There are obviously 2 new jobs to the game, Viper and Pictomancer, which means 2 new sets of quests. The Viper quest apparently will incorporate the history of the job explained through storyline, as we see through these pictures, with characters standing around what looks like this dead character. This is a Realm Reborn area, as you can tell, although the graphics update looks amazing, and I had to double take that. Incredible. We have the Pictomancer quest as well, showing this screenshot of a Moogle, all fluffy and awesome with that new graphical update with a new fur shader, which looks amazing. And then the Pictomancer questline apparently will feature Moogles throughout the entirety. Here is a flashback sort of sequence in Kogane they show. They say in one of these role quests, the Namazu tribe do appear as well. So that's an instant unlock and level up for me. New Disciple of Hand and Land quests will featuring the Pelu Pelu here in this picture. The Waku Meki Meki deliveries, I've probably butchered that, is the name of this new sort of area similar to the Crystarium. This name apparently means a string of precious stones that form a necklace in the Pelu Pelu language. So there we go. There are 5 quest lines in total, with Blacksmith, Armorer and Goldsmith being in one category, Carpenter, Leather Worker and Weaver being in a second category, Alchemist and Culinarian in a third, Miner and Botanist in a fourth, and Fisher being separated into a fifth. So if you want to do those, these quests will all take place in Tural and specifically start in Tulialal. You'll get a glimpse into the different tribes and cultures, they say, so this will be quite an interesting set of quests looking at the backstory of these peoples. There will also be a new quest line added in 7.1 or later, they say, that will be available for people who have done all 5 of those quest lines as usual. New dungeons then. The first is the level 91 dungeon. Second, we have a look at this one in Urka Pacha, it looks like, with this mountainside. Third, we have this dungeon that looks like inside of a cave or something. Very similar to maybe being under a forest, maybe under Yaktel. Fourth is this neon-filled dungeon, which is fairly obvious where that is. Looks great. And personally, it looks like something from Star Wars. There's lots of variety in these dungeons, from forest to neon cityscapes. They say the main dungeons that are in the MSQ should be as expected in terms of their level and difficulty, and they shouldn't differ too far. This comes as people have sort of asked about the difficulty. They say you don't need to be afraid of it being too challenging. That said, they say once you go into expert dungeons, you may be reminded that this is for experts, end quote. They want you to be excited at level cap, so we'll have to wait and see. New trials, they show it actually in gameplay here, just briefly showing this arena, deliberately not showing too much of this though. This is the model of the boss Valagalmanda, so this is a new featured character and main antagonist for that, which is obviously the new trial. It will change appearances throughout the fight, they say, so it's not just this only form you see here. They show the first part of the fight, which has this big warning on screen with lots of AoEs. There's not too much to really get from this, to which Yoshida-san stands in an AoE and then falls off quickly to stop us seeing more of the fight. They say the message that pops up, they added in this expansion to help new players to help pay attention. This shows what the bosses are going to be doing next, and they say it may take time to get used to, but it will help with aligning your party as to what to do next without having to communicate any other way. They hope that players will utilize this new feature, and they want to implement it into older content in the future. They say it may take some time to do so, but they do want to give this to the players, and they want players to give feedback on this. So they take a short break. After the break, they go into a discussion about the new raid series, the Arcadion. They don't spoil too much in the storyline, obviously, but they do show us it in the game. The platform here, looking down below at the laser beams, they mention that if you fall off, you're probably going to be sliced to death. They then pan the camera up slowly to show the first boss, which is in this arena. This is this sort of cat person. It looks like a sort of dual arena out of something else like Final Fantasy VII. Cheering fans are adorned on these sort of stands behind in the background with advertising banners showing all manner of different products. There is an announcer voice as well, which shouts, "The Black Cat!" So presumably that's the name of the first boss. We see a series of mechanics, and we also see the tank buster that basically Yoshi P jumps off to not show any more of a fight, obviously not wanting to spoil much more than this, but already that's probably more than enough. They also show in the game, obviously, Tulialal here. They say the drastic difference in tone between those two areas makes you think that, is this the same game? A good question. The PowerPoint returns. The new raid series starts in 7.01. Savage opens up in 7.05, and they joke about wanting to keep the name of the actual raid series a secret, but they actually forgot to censor it in the gameplay they showed. If you want to go back and Google Lens that, you can. I'm not going to mention it here because they didn't intend to. The new treasure map dungeon will also be added in 7.05, which is Cenote Jaja Gural. As you can see with the second picture, as it gets more vibrant as you go through this, with pink leaf trees and this city of gold, making use of a graphics update on making gold look very shiny. I can't wait to see what this looks like in a game, at my own resolution. Gathering and crafting adjustments then. Gathering first. There's obviously new actions and traits, new gathering points, and new regional folklore. The new scripts are called Orange Gatherer scripts, so that's the new scripts. They're going for orange color. Integrity, which is the remaining number of gathering attempts, will now be shown in the gathering interface now, which is awesome. And additionally for fishes, the fish guide will now display the type of hook required for a catch, which is really good instead of you having to tab out and look this up on Google. Crafters then, new actions and traits. New recipes, new master recipes will come in 7.05, they say, and there's obviously the new scripts, Orange Crafter scripts. Then we move on to system adjustments, which is exciting. New elegant tomestones. So obviously in the media tour, we saw the aesthetic tomestone, which is kind of like your lesser tomestone you'll be able to do as soon as you hit level 100. And then we've got elegant tomestones of heliometry. Heliometry, there we go, in 7.05 when Savage releases. So that's your top tier stone with a much tighter restriction on the amount you can get per week. Tome gear showcase then. First of all, we have tanks. This is the Tomestone gear of Heliometry, I think it is. We got Reaper. Then we got the aiming one. We got a healer. And then we got Pictomancer here, specifically for caster. Very cool. And then they show us this stuff. They say we're not going to tell you where it's from, but it probably is the Raid series. It's the cybernetic sort of stuff. They only show a few examples. First, the tank, obviously. Then we have the Dragoon. Now, this was especially exciting. Note the Vieira ears that are popping out there of that helm. Very nice, very nice. They even zoom in to show you that specifically. Then we have a Ninja. And finally, a Black Mage. So yeah, really cool looking gear. Can't wait to get some of that and see how it dies. Additionally, the number of bicolor gemstones we can hold is being increased to 1,500 instead of 1,000, so we can collect more to exchange for all those new items from the Shared Fate system. So that's exciting. A new feature is being added to give you the ability to hide nearby players when close to an NPC or object with a quest objective. The default mode still exists as it is currently in the game, but as you can see, you can toggle this on to avoid having to click through players. There's also another option to make it so that they hide when you interact with the NPC, specifically through dialogue, so that you won't miss the movement and acting if that NPC does so. They show footage of those features working here, and you can make it so that it also shows party members if you wish to as well, as an extra option. They mentioned they want to add more quality of life adjustments like this in the future, but this is a great start. Next, emotes and recipes for delivery items will be accessible from the duty list. So instead of finding the emote, you can actually just press it on that quest list or obviously on your journal instead of having to go into your emotes or even typing in chat, which is a really nice quality of life change. The dyeing adjustments, obviously we've talked about this before on this channel. 2 different dyes can be applied to gear. Equipment supporting this new functionality will be increased every patch. There are some glamour items that they put a higher priority on with the release of the expansion. Obviously everything in the expansion has the dual dyes, but everything prior to that, not all of it will have that available. But in the run-up to 7.4 patch, they want to have as much as possible available to be dual dyed, if not everything. So the team is working very hard behind the scenes to backdate this stuff, but it's going to take that long to add dual dyes to everything, which is really cool. There is an option, obviously, to set favored dyes, like we saw in a media tour videos I made, as well as the ability to save previously applied dyes, so you can apply it to multiple pieces. They also show a quick demo of the spring outfit here. The items show 2 pips showing that they can dual dye. 2 options, as you can see, for each dye, and then you can swap between 1 and 2 if you want to see what they look like. Say, for instance, it was red and black. You can change the bit that was red into black and so on, and swap that around between slots. Really cool. They say that we need to thank the dev team for going back to redo many of their old outfits, but the dev team are happy that their work is getting a new life, new lease of life with these updates, which is really nice to hear. For Facewear then, there's a new Facewear slot. Spectacles previously available via the fashion accessory feature are actually being recategorized as a new Facewear category, which is interesting. It's not normal gear. Facewear can be equipped and saved as part of a gear set, and they show this in the game. So you can actually click them, and then there are actually different color variations you can use. There are 12 per face accessory. So you don't actually dye the slot. It doesn't consume dyes. You just choose the color of and the style difference of whichever slot you like. So Facewear will not actually disappear in combat either. So this is separate from the fashion accessory system, which uses that totally different in combat, out of combat system. The Facewear stuff is just always on. It also shows in the character portraits as well, which is really exciting. So that's a really nice bit of elaboration on that new slot. They show also some new examples in Yaktel of new fashion accessories. This is a brand new parasol, which is a see-through umbrella that glows, which is absolutely awesome, as you can see in the night. Looks like something you'd get from Solution 9 or something. Very cool. A second one then here briefly shown is like a Valentine sort of gothic style with ribbons, which which is very nice. And then a nice circular Eastern design with these bomblings on it as well, and that gold. Very nice. Whilst they're here, they say they might as well show us some minions. So first of all, we see the corn minion that you might have seen on Instagram, which is pretty interesting. A weird little dinosaur thing. Apparently, chat knew what this is. I have no idea. So if you know what this is, please leave me a comment section on the little dinosaur thingy. He's adorable. Then there's a baby leopard, adorable and fluffy. They've put the fluff and fur texture stuff onto minions, which is cool. And then there's a kitty cat, which I badly need. I need that kitty cat. I really do. And then there's a baby mammalja in a jumper, which is adorable. A swole cactuar, endlessly flexing, and a small alpaca. They actually show on the action bars, they don't actually summon the rest of them, but there's loads of minions. They say there's a lot in the expansion. New mounts then. First, we finally get wings as a mount. This is the biggest thing. They actually did it. A series of new trials will actually have the mounts be different colored wings. So your new trial series of mounts, you know how you had your lynxes and stuff like that before and your horses, it'll be different styles of wings. And when you take off, as you can see here, they sprout out with like phoenix pinions on the bottom and then allow you to fly around. This is ridiculously cool. I don't know how many people, including myself, have requested flyable mounts that are basically just wings on your character. Ever since they added the fashion accessory system with wings and you jump and then they flutter, I wanted the ability to fly off. So hopefully they do a lot more of these. I can't wait for that new trial mount series. Next is a small flying squirrel, which is absolutely adorable. As you can see, they're really making use of that glide tilt technology that they've got on mounts now, which really looks amazing on this mount. It's just such a good idea for a mount. Next, there's a big one. I don't know where this is from. This is Brute Justice as a mount. Kind of looks like Cute Justice. I don't know if this is going to be a Blue Mage thing or wherever this could be from. Yeah, I really, really can't wait to get that myself. It's really cool. Next, they've got this flying bird thing, which is very cool. It's got this kind of gold all over it. They hinted at this being a new gill sync mount, so who knows how much that will cost, but very nice, unique model for that. Then there's an alpaca mount, which should be no surprise to many people. It's very fluffy and cute. And I can't wait to get that either. Don't know where that's from. They also show a bit of Yaktal flying around here. We've never seen this in game before. As you can see, there's lots of different trees and then other lands around that with these canopies of trees that you're actually above. So it's a completely different zone. And then you can go below that canopy and it comes alive with this bioluminescence on basically everything. It's like something out of Avatar. It's absolutely beautiful. With the work they've put into this, there doesn't actually need to be any interruptions anymore. So the graphic stuff, there's actually better transitions between sections of the same area. They actually show this as they go up this rock face where it's in this dark area, and as it transitions to the area above the canopy with completely different lighting. The lighting and shadows do look incredible, even on this low bitrate stream and this footage from a stream that's in very low bitrate. When you're watching it. So back to the PowerPoint then. For up to 60 minutes of in-game playtime, players may adjust their character as many times as they like with the new Fantasia system. They talked about this previously, which is really cool. That's always nice to see. The companion app outside of the game is getting updates. This has customizations for the main menu and wallpaper settings. This actually allows you to do hunting, mining, botany, fishing, retain adventures now on the go from your phone. They wanted to add more outside of the game abilities to do in the game, so they went with retain adventures. This does require an in-app currency, Kupo nuts or Mog coins, they say, so there has to be a cost behind that. Things like additional placement slots and other housing they just mention here, because there's no other section of it in this live letter, will come at a much later time in the 7.x series. However, they do want to show off some of the new house types. So this first picture shows this new house type of a medium-sized plot with foliage on these beautiful roofs here. Obviously new textures, new graphical style. And then there's also this picture of it at night, which is really, really cool. Then this picture shows how you'll be able to get on the roof here with various different seating. This is actually on a large size plot as well, as you can see here. Very cool. So there's an upcoming schedule of updates to the game then. June 28th is obviously Dawntrail Early Access. Then Tuesday, July the 2nd, the game officially launches. 7.01 releases 2 weeks later with the Arcadian Normal Raid series. And then on the 30th, which is 2 weeks later after that, we actually get the 7.05 patch, which comes with that, the master recipes to the game, elegant tomes of heliometry, if I could say that word, I would, the treasure map dungeons, and the Arcadian Savage in 7.05. So once again, that's the 30th of July, so bear that in mind. The early access will require a 48 maintenance, they say, 48 hours of maintenance, so please be aware of that and plan accordingly if you wanted to do anything else in the game before that. The file size, they say, is 55 gigabytes just for the expansion patch on Windows, so the whole game is now way over 90 gigabytes in size. The PlayStation 5 patch, they say, is compressed more, so it's around 75 gigabytes, and PS4 is 80 gigabytes. The Xbox, they say, Xbox users will have to overwrite the entire patch and re-download, so it's close to 100 gigabytes. So be advised. So it looks like the Xbox users have a slight other hurdle to hop on. So you want to download that as soon as possible when the maintenance allows, right? As soon as the patch is available. So that's a wrap on the main content then. Just briefly talking about announcements. There's 2 new Uniqlo shirts being available from June the 24th in the US. Apparently these are also available in the EU region as well as Japan, as well as the US, but they didn't include it on the slide here. There's a new collaboration with Gongcha. This is in EU, NA, and Japan. Apparently, you purchase any 3 drinks in one transaction and you will get the King Porksea mount. This is from Wednesday, July the 17th and lasts until Wednesday, the 28th of August. So, Gongcha. I'm going to have to see where in the UK there is some establishments of that. I want to get that mount. There's also the Samsung and Final Fantasy XIV crossover with internal SSDs with a collaborative storage box, which is Japanese only. Apparently you buy SSDs and you get a box with Final Fantasy XIV characters on it, apparently. There's also the Dolphy Dream, Volks, Dolls, Alphino and Alice that you might have seen throughout this broadcast. But they announced this is the second collab they've done with Volks, and as you can see on the shelf here, the detail is quite amazing with the new lifts and things. Yoshi P also tries to compare his face to the dolls for some reason, which is hilarious, so I included that picture as well. Secret Lab chair collab, we probably already know about this. Those chairs look amazing. If you're looking for a cool chair, then Secret Labs has you covered. And there's also a free login campaign currently underway until Thursday the 20th of June. If you want to play the game for up to 96 hours for free, you should get on that before that runs out. There's also a 60% sale on Endwalker and the Complete Edition, with the details on screen there. A pop-up store in Paris will be on the 21st of June until the 23rd of June, which is a Sunday. If you live around Paris and you want to go by and buy some cool stuff that's 14 related. There's also Japan Expo Paris in obviously this year, where Yoshi P will be in attendance on stage shows if you want to go to those as well. There's also Gamescom in Cologne, Germany, where Square Enix will be there with Final Fantasy XIV. Then there's PAX Australia on the 11th to the 13th of October. And as usual, wrapping up this, there will be an official patch note reading on Thursday the 27th of June at 3 a.m. PDT, which is 10 GMT or 11 BST and 8 p.m. AEST, with Japanese only audio if you want to go watch them read through the patch notes. It will also feature special guest, the Japanese voice actor for Kryl, Yoshino Nanjo, so that should be awesome if you like their work. So there we go, that's everything. I personally enjoyed the live letter. It was many hours of content that was spread out, lots of footage. Not a massive amount of new details were shown, but I especially like the quality of life additions and also the previews at mounts and minions. I do think that they showed quite a lot in the trailer though, so if you want to avoid spoilers, I wouldn't watch that, but if you don't mind, there's a lot to delve into. Yeah, I'll probably end up watching that repeatedly now, back to back, and I'm sure many of you will do too. So thank you for watching so much. I'll see you all next time. Let me know what you thought of this live letter, and if you're excited for June the 28th like me. Much love. I'll see you all next time. Bye bye.